Danny, how you doing, man?
We don't talk about Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno. This is
No.
true. You're not allowed to talk about Bruno, Danny. It's like Fight Club.
Yeah,
Bruno is Brad Pitt confirmed?
absolutely.
I feel like John Leguizamo might have actually been in Fight Club. I don't know.
Was he?
Was he? I feel like he would have been about the right age to be a background actor at that point. Leguizamo, Fight Club. John Leguizamo. He fought Patrick Swayze. No, he was not. No, he's fought people, but he was not. Okay, well, worth Google.
He was in the Super Mario Brothers.
He was in the Super Mario Brothers, one of the greatest films of all time. Yeah,
Absolutely, better than Schindler's List, if you ask me.
Yeah, there's that.
Okay.
Okay, so before we get to the film, naturally, have we got anything that you'd like to talk about this week, Daniel?
I do, just briefly. I'll spin the wheel though to give the illusion of randomness. The anniversary of the Capitol riot in the US.
Oh yeah, that happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just at that point in the new year when I was just coming round from my mince pies and macaroni hangover, and I was just like, oh Jesus, it's the 6th of January. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
It was the anniversary of that, and I think it's safe to say that the political climate in the US well and truly calmed down. There's nothing going on over there. It's all very calm. There's no controversy about masks. There's no controversy about COVID. It's all very calm. Donald Trump has retired peacefully. It's all great over there. Yeah, it's all sunshine and roses.
Yep, it's gonna be all good. Yeah. So for those that don't know what I'm talking about, the Capitol riot was a thing that happened a year ago now, at the end of Trump's presidency, and he spoke to a crowd of his supporters and said, "Let's go down and show them whatever vague sort of loophole thing." Do you know? I'll get the actual quote of what he said.
Oh, okay.
Just to be accurate, don't want to be unfair.
I think we can be unfair to Donald Trump. I think that's okay.
Yeah, I don't want to get sued.
Well, that is slightly more reasonable. I'll allow you to not get sued.
Yeah. Okay, read Trump's. Just vamp while I find this.
Okay, I'm just looking through the IMDb page for Encanto. I always like going to the trivia section, if I can find it. Here we go, trivia. Each member of the Madrigal family... how would I rate Encanto? I don't care. Each magical member of the Madrigal family has a recurring symbol on their clothes that represent their gifts. Julietta's apron has images of plants, and in the pockets, hands holding plants, representing her healing powers through her recipes. Nice. Pepper wears sun-shaped earrings. Her dress has suns on it. I noticed that, symbolising her weather-related powers. Bruno has hourglasses on his poncho, mirroring his ability to see through the sands of time. Oh, that kind of makes sense, actually. I did wonder why the sound of falling sand, or whatever it is that Dolores says, is the thing that goes with... but yes, now it makes a bit more sense. Isabella's dress is covered in flowers, directly tied to her plant flowers. Luisa's skirt has free weights on the bottom, an obvious allusion to her super strength. I love Luisa, she's great. Dolores' clothes are with sound waves. Camilo's ponchos has chameleons on it. Antonio's vest has animals sewn onto it. Mirabelle is shown with a decorative pink butterfly sewn on her right shoulder, a symbol of the house or family. Well, that's quite nice. Who doesn't like a bit of that? Her mariposas, which I think is Spanish for butterfly.
I've found it.
Okay, good stuff.
It's really long. Fucking hell. Okay, I'm just trying.
Is it worth repeating now that you've actually found it?
No, not really. I mean, it's. Where is? I'm looking at it. It's so long. I'm not even joking. It is
Donald Trump has never been a person to make a point concisely, has he?
Yeah. So the main sort of theme of the speech is the election has been stolen. If you don't fight, then we're gonna lose our country. And it's just, sort of, we have justice and truth on our side. We have a deep and enduring love for America in our hearts.
It's like a crazy religion for these people. It's not it's not something that they don't believe in. Liberty, freedom of speech, the American way, truth, honesty. It's no. Let's all kick off and march on the Capitol. It's absurd.
Yeah. So after months of denying the election result, he then ends this speech with a crowd of incredibly angry people and says, but we're going to try and give our Republicans, the weak ones, because the strong ones don't need any of our help. We're going to try and give them the kind of pride and boldness that they need to take back our country. So let's walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. Thank you. God bless America. And after he said that, they did walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and many of them proceeded to break in to the Capitol building in the hopes of killing politicians. People went in with guns, people went in with bats, people went in with tie wraps. So God knows what could have happened if they'd got their hands in any of the public officials.
Yep.
I just want to say that had this been a smaller country with less entrenched institutions, this would have been nothing short of a fucking coup. Okay? And because it's America, and because they do have quite strong institutions, for now at least, that wasn't allowed to happen, even though the National Guard was called extremely late after they'd already broken in and someone was actually killed by the police because of, I mean, it would be like, I don't know if you can imagine it here, people breaking into Parliament and just like...
No, I can't really imagine
Yeah,
that.
and it's never happened in the history of America, what happened on that day. And like, it's just... It was unbelievable. And I can guarantee you that if it was Antifa or BLM that marched on that building and tried to break in, the hammer would have came down on them so much worse than what... I was surprised that only one person was killed because of it. Because it's like... It's insurrection. It's like... It's and America just doesn't do that at all. America just doesn't put up with stuff like that. I mean, people during the BLM protests were getting put into vans and like beaten up and things like so. Like, the idea that this was ever allowed to take place is just unbelievable.
It's repugnant. Yeah.
Yeah, and as I say, if it was a smaller country, it would have been a coup, and Donald Trump would have been reinstated as president. Like, that's what they were in there for.
Yeah.
They were in there to stop a democratic vote. And as I say, if it was a smaller country, it would have been a coup, and Donald Trump would have been reinstated as President of the United States, because not only did they break in to a government building, they also did it to try and stop a democratic vote to get Biden entrenched as the president, which was a free and fair election. And the fact that so many believed that it was a lie is incredibly fucking dangerous. Like, getting people to believe that, there is no going back from that sort of level of misinformation. I mean, you've even got people like Ben Shapiro on the day saying what Donald Trump is doing is incredibly dangerous and dishonest. So
Ben Shapiro, one of the most repugnant journalists I've ever sort of seen on the internet, is could you sense the air quotes? I think technically he is a journalist, obviously, but
yeah.
If the far right, if what he does can be considered journalism, then I should have won a Pulitzer. It's absurd. Yeah, even if you've got Ben Shapiro saying maybe you've gone a bit too far, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Then you've fucked it at that point.
Twitter had to put like disclaimers under his tweets because they were just like flat out lies. They were just like they just had to say, yeah, this is an opinion. This does not corroborate with evidence shown and blah 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 blah. So it was meant. It's never happened before, and the fact that it has happened really just doesn't spell any good news for anyone.
For democracy, yeah.
For democracy, just it's really really bad.
It's. I don't know. I know the Overton window in the UK is generally a bit more left-leaning than the Overton window in the US. But the idea of the Tories getting ousted during the next general election, and people marching down onto Downing Street, onto the Houses of Parliament.
Yeah.
That's a horrifying thought. I can't imagine that ever happening in the UK. I can imagine people being angry. I can imagine protests. I can't imagine, people smashing in the windows of Downing Street and fighting Larry the cat on the front doorstep. Do you know what I mean? I can't imagine that. It's just insane to see that it happened.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time, the thing that really summed it up was I saw this tweet, because of course I did, that said, do the armed insurrectionists that are currently invading the capital know that there is a plague across the entire United States of America? And I just thought, there's two horrifically apocalyptic events happening at the same time. And nobody really seems to give a shit about either of them.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
really fucked. It sort of highlights the bleakness of the political system in a weird way.
With two plagues indeed, the rising tide of fascism and the coronavirus, and now it's... I think over here, people are getting a lot more pissed off about this party business that went on.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That I cannot believe that at all.
Yeah.
The idea that Boris Johnson was literally having a bring your own booze party on the eve of Prince Philip's funeral, and then the next day I don't know if he was at the funeral, but okay, we've had some very major technical difficulties today. It's all fucking going on. I can't tell you why, but trust me, it's driving me insane.
Yeah.
So long story short, the Capitol riots are bad. Downing Street party is bad. It's all fucking shit. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Something a bit more. Let's move on. Something else for the bullshit, which I have brought to the table generously, and like the generous host that I am, I've brought a slain pig to the table that I have roasted and cooked, and it's a story about my life. So let's spin the wheel to give the illusion that I've got a random pig rather than a pre-planned pig.
Yeah. Go on.
Okay, so I am trying to sell a fridge on Facebook Marketplace, and it is the most difficult thing I have ever done in my life. Right. I have sold things on Facebook Marketplace before. Because we moved into this house and the previous owners left quite a few bits and bobs that I looked at and thought, I cannot imagine any single situation in which I would want that in my house. So I sold it on Facebook Marketplace to someone that did. Right, just recently, I'm selling some things on Facebook, and it's all going very well. I sold a mirror that was in the house, and I put a picture of it on Facebook, and I said, anybody who wants this mirror, send me a message. I'm sure you, listener, know how Facebook Marketplace works, and I don't need to explain it to you. But just in case you're as stupid as Danny, you upload a picture and a listing onto Facebook Marketplace, and you quickly just say, this is... you send a picture and say, mirror, don't want it anymore, tenner, or whatever.
Yeah.
So long story short, someone sent me a message and said, is this available? I said, yep. So I took it round to the shop and said, there you go, here's the mirror, and he gave me some money, and then I came back to the house, and it was done. It was sorted. It was resolved. It was all good to go. And I think it might be because the fridge is something that's bigger, because it's not a full-sized fridge. It's 4 feet tall. I am taller than this fridge. I can just about pick it up for a bit. It's not that heavy either. So on Facebook, my one thing I do think about Facebook is I don't want to give my address away to someone. Some rando on Facebook Marketplace says, can I come and pick this up? I don't want to say yes. Random stranger off the internet, please come to my house where you will meet me. I don't really want to do that. I think that sounds massively dangerous. So I always say to someone, I'll meet you at the end of the street, or I'll meet you at the shop, or I'll meet you XYZ place. And that has always worked for me. I've done it before. It's been completely fine. Yeah. We're just around the corner from a pub, as is every house in the UK. So quite often I'll just say, can I meet you in the pub? Or can I meet you here or wherever? And it just works fine.
Yeah.
But long story short, my car at the moment is out of action. So I can't put the fridge in the back of the car to then drive it to the pub or drive it to the shop or wherever. So I've had to say, I will just take it to the end of my road.
Yes.
So somebody get in touch and said, okay, is the fridge still available? I'll have it off you. Can I have it for a bit cheaper if my partner comes and gets it now? And I was like, yep, perfectly fine. I'll be at the end of this road. And I told them my road and my postcode and all the rest of it. And they said, okay, what house? And I said, well, I'll be on the street. I'll be the only man stood there on the street with a fridge. I guarantee it. I will be literally stood there on my own next to a fridge, and you can have the fridge off me. They said, okay, well, can my partner plug it in and see if it works? And I said, I mean, in theory, yes, but I'm on the pavement. And I've had to carry it from my house to the pavement and then all the way down the street. And Danny knows this. I live up a hill. I've had to carry this thing down the hill to the end of the street. And I'm
oh my God.
This person, so I've said, well, in theory, yes, but in practice, no. I'm afraid you can't plug it in and see if it works. I assure you it does work. I was using it myself up until a few days ago. But if you get it home and discover it doesn't work, you can have your money back. How about that? And they said, yep, fine. And so they said, yep, right, he's on his way. So, fantastic, he's on his way. So I'm taking it down the street, and luckily, right. Let's just address the logistics of this situation first.
Yeah.
Getting it out of my house was a pickle, because it's in my utility room, which is the room I'm in at the minute, which is on the same level as the street. You open the door in the utility room, and because it used to be a garage, it's like been converted. So you can just open the front door in the utility room, and it just is the street. Well, it's not, it's the driveway, and then the driveway becomes the street. And that's very handy for getting shit in and out of my house. However, there's a big old dining table, this thing I'm recording on at the minute, big old dining table that I cannot get the fridge around, basically. The dining table is in the way, so I've had to go take it through the house and out into the driveway. It's out there. Great. I do not possess a wheelbarrow or a dolly or a scooter or a skateboard or anything with wheels. So at first I tried to just wiggle it down the street, which sort of worked, because it has little feet on the bottom where I can sort of lean it onto the one corner, twist it by 90 degrees and lean it onto another corner, and then twist and I sort of walked it down to the end of my driveway, and I thought, it's going to take me about 40 minutes to get down to the end of the street like this.
Yeah.
So I came back into the house, and I got the lid off an old plastic box that I did not use or need. As I say, like, when we moved house, basically, we just put everything in boxes and everything went in here. So now I have lots of empty boxes that will never be used in this room. So I used the lid from an empty box, and I put the fridge on the lid from the empty box, and then just dragged it down the street, destroying this lid in the process. But that doesn't matter, because the fridge was fine, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Got it about halfway down the street, and the lid was so destroyed that it was no longer structurally viable to continue dragging my fridge down my street with it.
God. Okay.
And it was at this point where I was like, right, okay, this is very difficult. I pulled my phone out of my pocket and I was texting with this person that's buying the fridge, and they were saying, yeah, my partner's going to the ATM and all the rest of it, and he's going to pick it up. And I was like, yep, fine, great. And the guy from lives just across the street from me came out and said, you're right, mate, you're delivering that somewhere. And I said, no, mate, I'm just... And he said, oh, sorry, I can't see you, I'll come closer. And I was like, right, okay. So he came closer, and I explained the situation to him, that I'm selling this fridge to someone, he's getting to the end of the street. And he said, oh, right, okay, well, I can't help you, because I'm busy. But if you want, you can borrow my wheelbarrow. And I was like, mate, that would be perfect. That would be amazing. Fantastic. So I've decided I'm going to buy him a packet of biscuits or something. But yeah, anyway. So I borrowed this bloke's wheelbarrow. He helped me to get it on the wheelbarrow, and then I wheeled it down to the end of the street. And I put it down there, and it was at the end of the street. All well and good. At this point, there is essentially shards of plastic in the street, but we'll ignore that, because I've gone back and... In the present, Lewis has gone back and picked up these shards of plastic. But at the time, there were shards of plastic in the street. So the fridge is at the end of the street. It's in the wheelbarrow. It's propped up on the street. It's perfectly fine. It's sunny. I'm chilling out. There's a lady that walks past with her dog. The dog wants to say hello. That's all very sweet. And then I'm texting back and forth with this person, and they said, okay. And they said again, even after I'd already said, I'll be at the end of the street, they said, can we have a house number? And I said, well, I'll be next to XYZ number house, because I'll be at the end of the street, on the pavement. Yeah. They said, right, okay. And then they said, so if it doesn't work, and we need to bring it back, what house do we bring it back to? And I said, well, you can bring it back to the place you've picked it up from, at the end of the street, and I will take it to my house. I said, right, okay. No, I don't think we'll take it then, thanks, mate. And I'm there, literally sweating out of breath from, like, leaving this massive fridge down the street and putting it on the pavement. And I'm just like, for fuck's sake, they don't want it now. So I'm
Why not?
Furiously standing there, one hand on the fridge, looking up to the sky, just like, take some very deep breaths as best I can manage. And then I had to wheel it back up the hill to get it to my house, and now it's in my hallway in my house, this fridge. And I'm texting with someone else that might want it, and to be quite frank, if that person just decides to be a dick about it, I might just like hire a skip for the fridge, because fucking hell.
God. What the did they give a reason?
No, they just said no, we don't want it anymore, thanks. I presume because they thought it was a scam. But the thing is, they know my name and face because they contacted me through Facebook. So do you know what I mean? It's just a bit of it'd be a very strange scam to pull for the sake, because it would be a second-hand fridge, and it's not a very big fridge, so I'm not selling it for much money. I just thought I might as well try and get a bit of cash for it, rather than just immediately dismantling it and putting it in the bin. I might as well try and get a bit of cash. But like, would be a weird scam to pull for the sake of not very much money. I'm going to give you a defective fridge, and I don't know. I mean, it's what gets me as well is there's always the fear of like selling something online and going to pick it up or delivering it or whatever, of the person that you talk to being a psychopath or an axe murderer or something like that. I am not those things. I'm a chubby, hairy little man. So I'm not very imposing because I'm just a chubby, hairy weirdo that's just like stood in the street with my headphones on, just like, I'm listening to a podcast, waiting for this person to arrive so I can give them a mirror. Like I'm not a scary person. Maybe I am to some people, I don't know, but I generally don't think I'm very imposing.
Oh my God.
So maybe from my Facebook profile, they were just like, oh no, seems like a bit of a wrong-un. No, I'm not sure how I feel about this Lewis. Oh no.
That is.
So yeah,
now
I've got a fridge.
Story.
I've got a fridge. I've got achy shoulders. I've returned the bloke's wheelbarrow. I've got a smashed up piece of plastic.
Wow.
So that's what I did with my morning today.
Fantastic.
Was I took my fridge for a walk. Oh God. So I needed to get that story off my chest because it was quite an ordeal that I spent this morning lugging this big fridge around. It's not even a big fridge. That's the fucking thing. I looked at it and I thought, yeah, I can pick that up and carry it to the end of my street. I can't. It's just such a it's just too big to wrap my arms around. If I could wrap my arms around it in a big bear hug, I probably would be able to. But it's just too big for me to get both hands around it at the same time.
Oh man, that's mental. Oh, that's dreadful. Oh, I hate when people do that.
I was deeply frustrated.
But
I did order a Chinese last night, so I'm still riding the high of that Chinese.
Quite right.
That's quite getting me through the low of this fridge episode.
Oh man. Well, what a story that is.
Indeed. I'm glad I've got that off my chest. Have we got any more stories or bits of bullshit or anything to deal with before we dive into Encanto?
No, I don't think so.
Neither do I. Oh,
fantastic. Yes. Well, it is episode 99, folks. 99.
9999999.
Yes. Oh, and we are talking about the newest Disney film.
We are.
Disney Pixar, I should say. Encanto.
Hey, it's Encanto. Yes, Encanto.
And it was written by loads of people, but I'm not listing them. And it was directed by Byron Howard and Jared Bush. So, yeah. And I'll get the actual page up because I'm not mispronouncing this. Okay.
Is this the actors? We're going to go through them now.
Okay. Okay. So we have Stephanie Beatriz.
Beatrice. Yep.
Beatriz. Jessica Darrow. Diane Guerrero. Renzi Feliz. John. Do you want to do that one?
John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo, Maluma, Carolina Gaitan, would you say?
Carolina Gaitan, yeah?
Yep. Wilmer Valderrama and Maria Cecilia Botero. So
there we go. We did them. Good for us. Good for us. Yeah. Yes, there are many people in this film because it's about a big old family, which is always nice.
Yes.
So, have we got an opening statement for this film, then?
Yeah. This film is about a Colombian cult. No, this film is a heartwarming film about family dysfunction and perhaps even generational trauma after the fallout of colonialism.
Correct.
Yes, okay.
That's factually correct. Yes, this film is a film about family values in a difficult time in history and in a very isolationist community. What does it mean to inherit something? Which I think is sort of it's an interesting thought to have. It's as always with a lot of Disney Pixar type movies. I'm not sure if this is a Pixar one. It might just be Disney. But as with a lot of Disney movies, it's sort of what I would describe as the interesting parts of the film are the things that are not central to the plot. Which is quite strange. Like, it's literally, they live in a town surrounded entirely by a mountain range. which means that they must grow all the food there, have some kind of sewage treatment system, that they must have some kind of low-level sort of government and church-based system, I would imagine.
Yeah.
That would be... I'd like to see a little bit of that, maybe. That might be interesting. But we did not see that, which is, perfectly fine. But yes, I enjoyed this film very much. The ending is a bit of a funny one, but there we go. What did you think, Dan? Have you got any CRQs?
Yes. What is your favourite song and why?
It's probably We Don't Talk About Bruno because it's really good. It's really boppy. It's just such a bop. Yeah, I like it very much. It's builds the mythos of this guy, and then he comes. It's Mirabelle goes into the walls, and then he's just like, "Hi, I'm just some guy that I live with rats." It's pretty great.
Yeah.
It's just some guy. It's quite cute. Yeah, I like that song. What is your favourite song?
Luisa's one.
Luisa's one is very good.
Yeah, that's my favourite, I would say.
I love Louisa. She's great.
She is great.
It's so rare that, especially in Disney movies, which is something I hate in animated movies, when it's like in real life. The example I always see online is in real life you see like a male cat and a female cat next to each other, and it's indistinguishable, the differences. But then in like a Disney movie, it's a male cat, and then a female cat is the same, but with a very clear like waist and hips and boobs, and it's like, well, that's just horrible, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked that when Louisa first came on screen and she was physically big and strong, I think I actually went, oh my god, that's great. I really liked that. I liked seeing people that are different body shapes to one another, because it frustrates me, because Pixar have done this a lot, where it's like the Pixar shaped people, where they're all different variations on a central theme of rough size and shape. And that always rubbed me up a bit the wrong way. Like, I enjoy Pixar movies, but that specific part always rubbed me up the wrong way. But no, I liked that Louisa, well, all the siblings really are visually distinguishable from each other in interesting ways. And that's quite nice. I like that they all sort of physically move around in different ways. Like Camilo, because of course he would be, he sort of moves around very fluidly and quickly and easily. And Louisa doesn't... Not stomping is the wrong word, but it's very deliberate, fast-paced steps, walking with a lot of purpose. And do you see what I mean? I really enjoy the way that the people of this family are represented. I think it's really good.
I absolutely agree.
Also, actually, now that I think about it, Louisa's song has the unsung heroes of the film, the donkeys, who I love. There's something about the donkeys that's so charismatic in that song and that scene. Yeah. When Mirabelle sort of looks at them as if to say, "What the hell's going on now?" She's singing and she's smashing rocks. What? And the donkeys sort of take a step back, and I don't know. There's something very charismatic about them that I quite like.
I like the animal in the scene where Bruno and Mirabelle are trying to have the vision, and this animal just refuses to move out the way. And he goes right, and this whole magic thing is happening, and this animal just looks as if it does not give a fuck. It's just like, well, I'm not fucking moving.
That's
I don't know.
It's sort of to be honest with you, it reminded me of Monica. It's which I know Monica gets a lot of screen time on this podcast, considering she's never in it. But yet there was a point at which Monica was lying on a folded up blanket in the spare room. And I couldn't sleep one night, and I went to go and sit down in there and read my book for a bit. And I wanted to get her off the blanket so I could put it on myself. And I grabbed the corners of the blanket and I tried to pull it down the bed, so that thinking she would get off when it started to move, and she didn't. I just pulled her up and down the bed for about 10 minutes, just like she was just looking at me like, it's a good roller coaster ride. I'm enjoying this. But that's what was it? An armadillo? That creature in the
maybe it was an armadillo. Do you know who it reminded me of? Who? It had the same facial expressions as Stanley from The Office. Just like a complete and utter not willing to compromise on anything, you know. Dude, I stutter, you know.
I do enjoy Stanley from The Office very much.
He's very funny.
He's extremely funny. That thing, what's our haul today? 26 meatballs each. They've just got these big bags of meatballs that Jim has been supplying them with.
Yeah. When the pretzel day comes and Stanley's the first one to do his little march to go get them, his fast walk.
That really does get me. So moving swiftly back to Disney. What did we? Is there anything we didn't like about this movie? What did we not like?
try to think. I wrote some notes, didn't I?
I didn't. When we first watched it, Chloe and I wasn't really a fan of the ending, because the ending is sort of. I was expecting, because for Casita to come back to life, it feels a bit like the story has had no consequences.
Yes.
And then at the end of the story, it's like, oh well, everything is back precisely as it was at the start of the story, but Nan's a bit more chill.
Yeah.
Is that the journey? Is Abuela getting a bit more chill throughout the course of the film? And then I didn't like that sort of nothing ending. But then I saw this thing online that it was sort of a theory that maybe the reason Mirabel didn't get powers and the reason things sort of went back to normal is because she is sort of supposed to inherit from Abuela the sort of matriarchal role of the household, which I sort of quite liked. Maybe she is supposed to. With the implication being that she's sort of chilled out and she's emotionally invested in the well-being of all these people, and the idea that she will be in the house and be helping the other members of the family. And I think that does, to some degree, make some level of sense, because the thing that really sticks out in my mind with that is that part when they're all trying to get to the candle while Casita is falling down. The candle looks like it's blowing out, and they're all using their powers to try and get up to the candle as quickly as they can. And Mirabel asks the house to get her up there, and it sort of starts rearranging staircases and roofs and chairs, and it starts pushing things around to just give her something to stand on to get her up there. And I thought that was very indicative of someone that's quite in touch with this sentient house, which, as much as that's an absurd thing to say, I'm very aware. I sort of thought, yeah, well, I would imagine Abuela would be very in touch with the sentient house, because there will have been years when it was functionally just her and the triplets and the house, and that was sort of it, really. There might have been other people in the village, sure, but she wouldn't have had her partner with her. There wouldn't have been this great big family of adults. So, do you see what I mean? I quite like it in a way.
I understand. But I think it would have been much better if no one got their powers. And it was like, because they made that point in the song where, it isn't just this family, it's like everyone in the community comes together to rebuild the casita. And if everyone, like, because the whole point of the film is you are more than just your gift.
Yes.
Like, and that's what Mirabel proves. Like, she's smart and loyal and funny, and that's, that's without even having any gifts. And I feel it sort of rings just a little bit hollow that things basically just go back to the same scenario that they are in. Like, I understand, maybe Mirabel will become the sort of matriarch, but that sort of power dynamic is what caused the sort of toxicity to begin with.
Yeah, that's
if you
true.
Get me.
I think maybe
leaving it all on one person to do one job. It's like I thought it was going to be a bit more egalitarian, and I thought, oh well, that's a lot better actually. Now
that you mention it, it would make more sense for Casita to sort of split itself up into a few houses, or even just like a couple of flats for like one for Pepper and her husband, one for Julieta and her husband. I cannot for the life of me remember those two men's names. I learn them and they just leak out of my head almost immediately. But it would make more sense perhaps, rather than, because it's functionally adults living in their parents' house and then adult children of those adults living in their grandparents' house. It's maybe it makes sense for sort of I'm not sure what Colombia was like at the time. Maybe that's historically accurate.
Maybe.
But if you're in a section of the world where you can literally make the house do anything you want, would you not skip for something a bit different? Perhaps I genuinely I don't know.
Yeah.
Would it make more sense to have like flats or something?
Yeah, it's probably a bit better that people that don't have powers just get a tiny little shitty room to themselves, and the people with powers get this basically another fucking dimension.
Yeah.
To themselves. It's very weird, and if I was Mirabel, I would have fucked off by that point. I would have just been like, right, I'm going to see what else there is, because this is just shit.
What got me about it was the when they were taking the family photo and Mirabel was pushed off to the side. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Sort of fucked. And she sort of is crying. And I just remember thinking, how could you, as Mirabel's mother and father, get into the photo and think, yes, Luisa, Isabella and Mirabel, oh, well, she doesn't matter, she hasn't got any powers, fuck her off. How could you? That's unconscionable, surely.
Yeah, that's just cruel to the point of abuse.
Yeah,
I think,
is really horrible,
you know?
in a very strange way.
And it doesn't just seem to be a thing with Mirabelle, because the little boy Antonio stays in her room with her until he gets powers, and then he gets his own big fucking room, and Mirabelle has to stay in that room even after the film ends.
Yeah,
Like, she goes back to that room
because it's sort
like, holy shit.
They mention it as sort of the nursery, don't they? And they say it's so Mirabelle is 18, 19, whatever, and she's in the nursery, and she's sort of that's kind of fucked when you really start to think about it. There's one thing that I'm not sure what I think about it. I'll be interested to see what you think about it. Where do you think the miracle came from? The candle or whatever? Was it God? Was it some kind of South American Mesopotamian god? I don't know. Because there is a church in the town, and the vicar is in We Don't Talk About Bruno. He's the one that he whips off his toupee. So, is there like is it from God, like a Christian God? I don't know.
It seems to respond to deep emotional feeling. That's what seemed to spring it, like the utter heartbreak of Abuela. Sort of made this thing happen, and then I'm not entirely sure what made it die either. Like, this power created itself because of pain and suffering, and then was there more pain and suffering because it wasn't the dynamic between all of them was pretty toxic, and then it gave itself an end date through Bruno with visions, and the magic sort of got rid of itself, and then when they all feel a bit better about themselves and not be arseholes, then it comes back. Like, I wish it was more about we should learn to live without magic and realise that that's not who you are. It's like it's not these incredible things. It's like it's just being a decent person that makes you, more. So I don't know. Maybe it's like, because if it was that way, I would guess it would be like, sort of like the power in Click, or
which I haven't seen.
Yes Man, where it's more like a circular. Yeah, it's like a circular lesson to say just because you have this ability doesn't mean that it's always going to be good for you. Like Bruce Almighty as well. Why is Jim Carrey in all of those films? Well, he's not in Click. It's Adam Sandler, I suppose.
And of course, The Truman Show, famously known for being about teaching him a lesson so that he does some sailing or something. That's a wonderful film.
Yeah.
That I think I might have misunderstood the point there on purpose, perhaps.
Yeah,
something
absolutely.
very sweet that I've just seen here. I don't know if you know Moana very well. Have you seen Moana recently?
I haven't seen it recently, but I have seen it.
Well, the chicken, Hey, is played by Alan Tudyk, who played... he's done all sorts of things. He's a Juilliard-trained actor. He played Turbo in Wreck-It Ralph, which is the main thing that I might know him from.
He played K2SO in Star Wars Rogue One.
He was the robot in iRobot. I think that robot did have a name, but I can't remember it. But yeah, he's done loads of stuff. He's an amazing actor.
Sunny?
Sunny? I have not seen Sunny. What's Sunny?
No, Sunny was the name of the robot, I think. He also played the Joker in the Harley Quinn series.
Cool.
He was very, very good in that.
But anyway, yeah, he's he was playing Hey in Moana, who is of course a very stupid chicken. And there's this fabulous sort of quote from him where they said they got him in, and he presumed there was going to be some kind of emotional depth to this chicken, and they sort of said to him, no, it's just going to be a really stupid chicken. You've woken up on a boat, you don't know where you are, you don't know what's happening, and nothing can convince you that you're safe. Everything that happens, every 5 seconds, essentially, your memory is wiped. You're just that stupid. And he sort of just went, yeah, okay. And then he just got in the booth and just did it. And he didn't really question it at all. And he's a very skilled actor. And he has also played a bird in this film. He played Antonio's toucan, which is quite
Oh my
sweet, I
God.
suppose. It just really tickled me. I wonder what bird he'll be cast as next. Maybe he'll be one of the penguins in the next Madagascar film. Who
Yeah,
knows?
maybe. Smile and wave,
I
boys.
love... Right, The Penguins of Madagascar, the film, has some of the greatest physical comedy I have ever seen in my life. There's this fantastic...
especially the third one.
There's three of those films.
Oh yeah, with the animal catcher.
Oh,
Dubois,
no, not the Madagascar
who's, like,
ones. Yeah,
French.
no, yeah, the third one does have some fantastic... It is a good movie, that third one. I really liked it. But the standalone film, Penguins of Madagascar, with John Malkovich plays the villain, Dave the Octopus.
God.
But yes, it's some of the best physical comedy I've ever seen. There's this fantastic part where they have like it's meant to be like a car chase, but they're in Venice and they do it in like gondolas. And so the penguins all have like the sticks, and they're like sort of going along as quickly as they possibly can, and there's the octopus guys behind them, and there's this part where, because they leap into this boat and start driving it along, and the skipper penguin or whatever, he starts commanding them and all the rest of it. He points at the gondola driver and he says, "Pick up that little guitar and play us some chase music," and he does, and it's just this sort of upbeat sort of chase music, and they're sort of going along, and they go, "Oh my God, skipper, it's a bridge!" And they leap out of the water, and the boat, they sort of walk the boat along with the 4 sort of paddles that they're using, so it's got like 4 legs, and they walk it along and hop back into the canal and keep going. And it's just full of little tiny physical comedy moments like that, which I know it's animated, so it's not actually a guy doing it, but it's every time I watch it, I'm just like, whoa, that's amazing, that's incredible. Blows me away every time. I really like those movies very much, and they really tickled me. I forget how I've come on to the Penguins of Madagascar. Yeah, Alan Tudyk's going to pay a penguin, maybe.
Yeah. What I do want to say is, why is it in every single one of these films is there like an entity that can't speak, but is like somehow get the best characterization in the entire
I'm not
film,
entirely sure.
if you get me? There's the ocean in Moana. There's the magic carpet in Aladdin. There's Casita in this. What else is there?
I don't know, but that's a very good point. That there are a lot of these films with a sort of non-verbal lead character.
Yeah. I don't know, but maybe we'll never know. But it's strange. But somehow it's endearing.
No, you're right. It is endearing, and it's I like the house very much. The house has such personality in a strange way. It's ever so strange. If I'm not a gifted artist in terms of drawing and animating and stuff like that, but it's something I find fascinating. Looking at sort of studying character animation and character art and stuff like that, and the one I always come back to is Wallace and Gromit, where the characters are so focused on emoting. That's the design of all the characters. Wallace emotes so much throughout the course of all of the different animations and things that they've been in, and that's what makes the penguin scary, is that he doesn't emote whatsoever. His face is static throughout the entire film. And Gromit even, he frowns and he scratches his chin and he sort of like rolls his eyes, and he has a lot of emotion for a plasticine dog. But
absolutely,
I think that it's something that I love about Casita, is that it does have a personality. You're sort of thinking, it's clearly it's some kind of entity is living within the bricks of this house, because it's also made of bricks and tiles and bits of wood and plant pots and whatever. So it's also just an entity that is puppeting the house in a strange way, and you don't question that. You're just like, all right, and just go with it.
That's just who it is. What was I going to say? I thought Abuela was going to be a villain.
Did you?
I'm
interested by that one. Tell me more.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be like a Rapunzel type thing, where she was going to be like Mother Gothel, and she's the reason that the magic is dying, because she's stealing it for herself. But it turned out to be more nuanced than that, which I liked.
Which I think, it's because it's about the difficult kind of self-improvement, this film. It's about the kind of self-improvement that it's like, I can't just do some sit-ups and be healthier. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if that was the plot of the film, it was, Abuela, you've got to do some sit-ups. It'd be significantly worse. But it is about the difficult type of self-improvement, the type where you have to look at your own flaws, understand them, and then improve upon them. And you sort of go, that is yeah, okay, I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to improve. But it was nice to see Abuela sort of acknowledging her own flaws and doing some sort of introspection. Like, I think it's certainly a common theme with adults that I have met and argued with over the years. That it's something that people will often refuse to introspect. They will refuse that they could even possibly be wrong. It's that, okay, well, you think that I have done something wrong, so I will apologise that you think I have done something wrong. And that's the apology, rather than sort of grandma sort of does some active introspection, and it's like, okay, no, I was wrong. I didn't even realise I was doing it wrong, but I've been holding you all to such a high standard and demanding perfection at every possible opportunity. It's terrible.
Exactly. No, definitely. I've met my fair share as well. They just seem to be everywhere.
One day we'll get old and do that.
Yeah, we definitely will. I'm counting on it. I've put bets on it and everything. William Hill, fuck's sake. But what was I going to say?
I'm not entirely sure.
No. Oh yeah. Do you know what this film reminds me of? Black Panther.
Right. Why?
Because it's a secret, hidden location, a community with magic that's kept it standing for hundreds of, maybe not hundreds, a long time.
Sort of maybe 50 years, yeah.
Yep, and that is all that's focused on. And while they don't open up the entire community to the world, they make themselves a bit better, but they have like this supernatural stuff that they just refuse to help the rest of the world with, which explains why they hid themselves away, because of, obviously, I mean, we see bad people on horses that are clearly, colonists that have driven people from their homes. You know what I mean? So it's interesting from that perspective. It just had a lot of similarities, I think. Obviously in a more light-hearted way. There's not some, revenge seeker that wants to kill all the world for,
yeah.
But yeah, it seems pretty
No, yeah,
similar.
I that's a surprising comparison to make, but no, now that you've explained it, it does make a bit more sense to me. No, you're right. I do enjoy the idea that, like, these people are complicated, inherently complicated, and in a way that's difficult to explain. Yeah. They have emotional complexities, rather than just sort of having opinions and voicing them and doing stuff. They have emotional complexities. It makes decision making difficult for them, and that's
exactly.
I'm not sure if endearing is the right word, but it certainly humanises them, which is a pleasant thing to see. And I think that's the key to a good character, is knowing that they need to have a flaw or two. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no point in writing a perfect character because then there's no story.
No, you're right. I think I'm running out of notes here, Cocker. Have you got much going on?
I think I'm out of notes, other than oh, never mind, magic is cool again. Because I wrote, yeah, magic is dumb anyway when the magic disappeared, and then I wrote, still don't really know how the magic disappeared, but oh well. And then I went, oh, never mind, magic's cool again.
That's another thing I just thought. Is there another candle now, or not?
Yeah,
I don't see another candle, and because that's another thing. I would be constantly petrified about the power going away, especially given the fact that it already did. I would be.
Why would it be at a window? Because it could blow out. Like, I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, actually, that's because now, at this point now, I'd be like, okay, the power's back. We don't know for how long. Quick, build, like, sustainable energy, infinite food, if we can manage it. Let's solve as many of the big picture problems as we can in the next 24 hours. And then every day beyond that is a blessing.
Let's use the woman who controls the weather to stop climate change, Yeah,
that's another thing that I thought, was that it's odd that their powers are sort of an odd mix of passive and active. Like, it's not... Pepper doesn't so much control the weather. Her emotion affects the weather around her. And Julieta, she doesn't control her healing magic. She gives you a morsel of food and you get healthier. But then
Is it
Bruno,
just-
he does like an arcane ritual and gathers up like an image of the future. But then do the grandchildren, do they have things they can actively control? Dolores is hearing the plants, the strongness, the talking to animals. Yeah, actually, I suppose maybe if the first generation is like passive powers, really, and the second generation is active things. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
That's strange.
Oh,
Oh well, it's just a film.
Should have said that in the first episode. Oh well, just a film, and then not done any of these.
Yeah, but it's just they're all films.
Yeah.
They're fine.
It's not real. Doesn't matter.
But yeah, it never happened. So
Yeah.
But there you go,
Yes, that was
folks.
Encanto.
That is It was. Do you have a closing statement, Lewis?
Yes, I do. I really like this film. I enjoy the sort of representation of South American history. I thought that was really nice. I liked I liked the music. It was brilliant. It's a beautifully colourful film, which I really, really adored. And also, I loved the different sort of body shape and size and demeanour of all the different characters. I like that we've gone beyond the sort of very stereotypical people, where they're sort of. Yeah, I feel like you can see it in older Disney animation where people's body language and people's things that they do doesn't tell you anything about the character. But in more modern Disney animation, you can learn a lot about Luisa or Julieta or whoever just by looking at them do stuff and looking at like there's that bit where Julieta's in the kitchen. I forget what she's making. It might be arepas, and she's just sort of kneading some dough or something. And it's just there's something quintessentially her character about her in that moment, and I think that's an impressive, nice thing that I really like. And that took me a lot of words to explain that I like this film.
Definitely. My closing statement is I want a casita. And that's all.
It would be very good, wouldn't it? Cheeky casita. Just be like, casita, there's a hole in the ceiling. Fix it. And it'll wiggle the tiles to say, yeah, all right. And it's sorted then.
Yeah. Amazing. That's what I want for Christmas. So
for Christmas in a year's time.
Yeah, get it. You know, if Teespring and Redbubble can do that, that would be ideal, and I'd buy loads. You know,
perfect. Yeah.
But there you go, folks.
I think that's the end of the podcast. Have we got some cheeky bit of shilling to do, Cocker?
Yes, we do.
Lovely stuff.
We all have link trees. Lewis's link tree is linktr.ee/Lewis_Brindley. Mine's is /ohirum. And the podcast is /shoutingintothevoid. There you'll find our socials, our Instagram, our Facebook, our YouTube. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a comment if you're feeling cheeky, and thank you.
Indeed. Thank you.
We also have a PayPal donate button, so anything you can spare, anything at all, would be greatly appreciated. We also have Patreon, and we want to take an opportunity, as we do every week, to thank our wonderful, wonderful patrons. Chloe.
Thank you.
Darius.
Thank you.
Peter.
Thank you.
Aditya.
Thank you.
Natalie.
Thank you.
And Dougie.
Thank you, one and all. You make the podcast possible, and you allow us to talk at great length about Encanto and other films as well, not just Encanto. But thank you very, very much for that. It truly means the world that you support us and allow us to do the podcast. So thank you very, very much.
Absolutely. Thanks again. We also have merch on Teespring and Redbubble. We sell tote bags, jumpers, socks, stickers, mugs, all sorts of stuff. Get yourself something nice, because do you know what? You've worked hard and you deserve it.
True. It's Blue Monday today when we're recording, so if you are blue, maybe buy yourself a t-shirt. See if that helps.
Absolutely. Yes, we are also partnered with an amazing company called Right Side Yarns, and we have an amazing advert that we play every week that you will hear now. And
there we go. Didn't you like it, Dan? It was very good. I liked it very much.
I loved it. It was amazing. But yeah, so there you go. And last but certainly not least, we are partnered with another amazing company called Number 12 Crochet Avenue, and Lewis is going to say some wonderful things about them, all of which are true.
Indeed I am. Number 12 Crochet Avenue is a wonderful company run by my wonderful wife, in which they crochet and they do all sorts of things in that wonderful world. So if you'd like to keep well and truly up to date with what they're doing, you can go to Instagram and you can check out at Number 12 Crochet Avenue, see what's going on over there, give them a like, give them a follow, check out everything, and it would mean the world to me and to them and to my cat. Well, she'll be nonplussed, but I imagine that if she could understand social media, she would like it. So thank you.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, so we've got a big announcement coming up next week, and an even bigger video to go along with the announcement. We won't say anything just yet, and yeah, we'll hopefully see you then for fun and laughs.
Indeed, yes. So thank you very much for listening to today's podcast. Thank you, good evening, and goodbye.
Yes, Vietnam. Goodbye.
Thank you, goodbye.